Brothers, pay attention and look at me. Don't talk to each other. Look at me. When the Prophet's hadith is mentioned, you shut your mouth. I'm telling you a hadith, you shut up. This is why you men are finished.
Hello everyone, you are now watching Muslim Logic Fail number 3. The gentleman you just saw is Imran Ibn Mansur, better known online as Dawah Man, a failed rapper turned Muslim preacher who now spreads the word of Allah through his countless YouTube videos. And as you can see, Dawah Man demands you pay attention. You'd better take him seriously. These are important, high-level ideas he's sharing. So how about we take a look and find out just exactly what Dawah Man is preaching. So let's begin by hearing Dawah Man's thoughts on a subject that Islam has always had great takes on: women. In 2017, Dawah Man made a video complaining about Muslim women on YouTube, or hijabi YouTubers. For some reason though, he couldn't direct the video at the YouTubers themselves, but rather at their husbands.
Nowadays we have this culture on YouTube where you have sisters who make like YouTube videos and whatnot, and like these hijabi YouTubers and whatnot, just generally YouTubers, and their husbands are like involved.
Well, isn't that awful? Supporting your wife, taking part in her hobbies, what is the world coming to?
I understand that some husbands might, not have control over their wives, and their wives are, dressing inappropriately, putting up all this makeup, just doing these hijab tutorials, and some are not even hijabis, right? And the husband's just getting involved, like it's happy days.
Now, you might be wondering why the Three Stooges care about how women look on YouTube, but they have a very good reason to be concerned.
Some people are perverted, they're just lusted by her or something like that, they're in love with her or something
actually
like that.
know a guy who, one hijabi YouTuber, he actually masturbated over her.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Well, there you have it. If Muslim women put videos up on YouTube, men will privately fap to their content and then tell Dawah Man about it for some reason.
Imran gets these emails, I can't deal with those kind of emails, that's nasty, man. Imran gets them kind of stuff. How do you deal with that, man?
But there's something else women have to worry about more than men fapping to their videos. No, not sexual harassment, not forced marriage or domestic abuse, but spirits, or as Islam calls them, the jinn.
It's not just the perverted eyes of the evil men, but rather you also have to understand that you are being watched by the demons from the realm of the jinn as well.
This is their plan, people. These are demons.
And many a time it happens. So much I have dealt with these situations, my beloved sisters, that there is a sister and a jinn falls in love with her. And many a time it happens, I have seen that because the jinn is in love now, he destroys the girl's life. He doesn't allow her to get married. Anytime she moves to getting married, he destroys, stops it from happening. Or, if she does get married, he causes problems between the husband and the wife. Wallahi, these are things I have seen, I've dealt with them, personally I've dealt with these situations.
So with this compelling information Dawah Man is sharing, it might come as a shock to you that apparently many of these sisters out there aren't praying.
So I was at home, just before I came here. I started to think and ponder over the sisters. And I was particularly thinking about the sisters who are not practicing. I was particularly thinking about the sisters who don't pray, sisters who are doing haram. Some of them wear hijab, some of them don't. And wallahi, it really hurts.
Who would have thought that people would prefer liberty over having virtually every aspect of their lives controlled? But there is one woman that Dawah Man has especially strong opinions on, and her name is Mary Jane. While most people think of Islam banning alcohol, according to Dawah Man, Islam also bans smoking weed.
Inshallah, today I'm going to be discussing weed from the angle of the Quran and the Sunnah. So a lot of people probably shocked, thinking, weed, was it around at the time of the Prophet ﷺ? Is there any verses, any ayat in the Quran that talk about weed? And you'll be very shocked, inshallah ta'ala, how the Quran and the Sunnah, it deals with this issue very well. The Prophet ﷺ said anything that will intoxicate you, if you drink a lot of it, if you smoke a lot of it, if you sniff a lot of it, if you eat or inhale a lot of it, it will be haram for you even if it's a small amount. Does it have the ability to get you high? Does it have the ability to intoxicate? Yes, it does. If that's the case, then you've got to stay away from it.
Well, that's interesting, Dawah Man, because there's something else out there that can also get you high. Water. H2O, dihydrogen monoxide. That's right. If you drink enough water, you can experience a phenomenon called water intoxication. Symptoms of water intoxication include head pain, cramping, nausea, and fatigue. In some cases, it can even be fatal. Now granted, you have to drink a lot of water for this to happen, but as you said...
Does it have the ability to get you high? Does it have the ability to intoxicate? Yes, it does. If that's the case, then you've got to stay away from it.
So, following your logic, you should stop drinking water. But along with being an intoxicant, Dawah Man has another reason for why it's bad to light up.
Another thing that it does to you, it makes you ma'boonan. What's ma'boon? What's ma'boonan? I tried to find an English word for this that would describe it, but it's a bit of a mad word. The word is calamite. Does anyone know what a calamite is? Calamite is basically a young boy that is left for homosexual activity. Ibn Taymiyyah says it turns you into a young boy that's gay, basically. It inherits in you homosexuality. Weed makes you homosexual.
Oh no, Alex got it all wrong. It wasn't the chemicals in the water, it was the weed.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
I've yet to see any research showing that weed, or any drug for that matter, can change your sexuality, but let's hear him out.
Music, alcohol, fornication, each one leads to the other. You listen to music, it's gonna lead you to get drunk because you're gonna listen to music in a club and you're gonna sleep with a chick after. You sleep with a chick, your shame is gonna go so low that eventually you're gonna say, I got bored of sleeping with so many chicks. Let me try something new. So what do? You go and you beat a man.
Well, can't really argue with that logic.
So now let's quickly talk about punishments. Because when a person does a wrong thing, they need to be punished. Anyone who drinks the alcohol, or he smokes weed, or he sniffs coke, takes this drug, fajliduhu, lash him. How many times? He gets lashed 80 times. If he does it again, fajliduhu, lash him again 80 times. If he does it again, fajliduhu, lash him again 80 times. If he does it for the 4th time, this guy's not getting it. No more lashes.
Yeah, it's almost like this method of discipline doesn't work. Perhaps instead of lashing, you could try what they've done in Portugal, where they've enacted drug decriminalization, focusing less on punishment and more on treatment. And, as a result, the drug problem in Portugal has improved.
At one point, hundreds of people were dying every single year from opioids, but now that number's been cut dramatically by 90%.
So, wouldn't this technique be better than whipping people like cattle?
The Prophet said, "Faqtuluhu, kill him." This man gets death penalty now.
Oh, well, there's that option too.
Now, of course, I'm just saying it one more time. That doesn't apply in this country. Because it's not the law of Muslims not applied here. So please, brothers, don't start finding the drug dealers in the ends and start killing them. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. Assalamu alaikum. Don't do that. Don't find the drug dealers in the ends and start killing them. Don't play that game, please.
You know, if you have to warn your following not to go out and kill people, it might be a sign that what you're preaching is kinda messed up. I also love how his reasoning for not killing people isn't because it's wrong, but because the country he lives in, the UK, doesn't follow Sharia law. But if the UK were to establish Sharia law, would he then be okay with it? Maybe I shouldn't worry about that though. There are far bigger issues out there anyway, like the non-believers. As a Muslim preacher, Dawah Man has a bone to pick with those who don't believe in the God Allah, especially those who don't believe in any God. If you thought the portrayal of atheists in God's Not Dead was bad, get ready. Dawah Man has portrayed atheists as being the Terminator,
I've come to terminate your belief in the unseen,
psychotic killers of chocolate bunnies,
you don't matter,
and even drinkers of their dad's sperm. In a video which Dawah Man apparently spent 5 months on.
I have a video that I've done for about 5-6 months, and it's, in my humble opinion, it's my most, it's my best video. Well, let's take a look.
For this part of the video, however, I'll be turning it over to ex-Muslim YouTuber Apostate Prophet, and I'll return shortly.
Hello everybody, this is the Apostate Prophet. Dawah Man in this video basically speaks about how in atheism there is nothing wrong with drinking your dad's sperm, which is why atheists shouldn't react so disgusted. Drinking semen doesn't harm anyone, and it has nutritional value.
So go drink your dad's sperm, man. What are you waiting for?
He's not entirely wrong. There might be theoretically nothing wrong with drinking your dad's semen, the substance in and of itself. But here's something for you, Dawah Man. Snot, mucus, a booger is something that you could logically eat and doesn't harm anyone, and it doesn't seem to have serious health risks. Yet we don't do that, not because it is an evil act, but because it is simply disgusting. We don't just reject everything because it is evil. We simply don't do many of the things that we don't do because we seriously don't want to do them. Otherwise, let me know, Dawah Man, and I'll send you a year's collection of everything that comes out of my nose, with pleasure. But okay, let's get closer to the subject matter. We could associate drinking your dad's semen with having a sexual relationship with your dad. That is simply something we are not into. We ban it as a society. We grow up feeling that it is wrong and disgusting, and we learn that it is extremely harmful to us, to our offspring that we naturally care about, and the societies that we live in. And that is probably the reason why we usually feel a natural disgust. And if we are vastly disgusted by that, then we will be disgusted by drinking the semen as well. The entire point of his video is to explain that atheists are disgusted by drinking their dad's semen, because we all have the same sense of morality, and that there cannot be a rational explanation to the origin of this morality except that our morality comes from a higher being, which of course is the Arabic god Allah. First off, we don't all have the same sense of morality, and neither did humans have the same morality all the time. If I told Dawah Man now that cultures outside of Islam don't have the same sense of modesty, and that we don't turn the female skin into this huge trigger for hungry rapist men, he would try to explain to me that the hijab is absolutely necessary in order to make society better. Yet all those who are not Muslims would heavily disagree with him and think that his argument for the hijab was morally wrong. Numerous other examples include Islam's lenience on child marriage. Even modern Muslims today find that disgusting. You as Muslims generally find alcohol very bad and despise the eating of pork, while other cultures totally enjoy alcohol and like pork as their favorite food. Most people in the West or in East Asia find it absolutely beautiful to have a dog at home. In Islam, having dogs at home is evil. Most cultures consider pictures an essential part of humans and their progress. In Islam, pictures of living beings are evil. In the past, humans considered it normal to rape, to murder, to loot and to enslave, to sacrifice people to gods, to stone each other, and much more. Well, some of us still do. Much of that has changed because we are constantly changing. We are definitely not wired the same way regarding morality. Dawah Man gets very confused throughout his video and compares drinking your dad's semen to murder and rape and genocide. The problem is that he doesn't understand social contract. We don't abstain from murder and rape just because we find it disgusting. We forbid these things as a society because historically and sociologically explained, humans made social contracts and built their rules with these. We agreed on such rules because we had to learn to live together without chaos, because we don't like being caught in chaos, because it endangers our own existence. So we agreed to common values for our own good. It's really that simple. This is how we make rules. Our rules are neither completely arbitrary, nor do they come into our veins from a higher being. And seriously, how can a Muslim apologist speak of common moral values and what is disgusting and what is not disgusting, when it is Islam that recommends the drinking of camel urine, which is not only disgusting but also harmful, the dipping of flies into your soup before you finish it, and when it is the Muslim community that widely practices cousin marriage, which the rest of humankind finds disgusting. But let me see you with a yellow bottle next. Stay away from Islam.
If you want to watch more of Apostate Prophet's content, a link to his YouTube channel can be found down below. But if you thought Dawah Man had a low view of non-believers in that video, take a look at his upload titled, "Are You Better Than a Cow?"
Basically, I want to introduce you to some friends that we have over here. We've got some cows, as you can see. Basically, brothers and sisters, just seeing the cows reminded me of an ayah in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the people who are misguided. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they're more misguided than the cattle. They are more astray than the cattle, right? If you think about it, brothers and sisters, a human being, right, who doesn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he has less value than these cattle right here. Because at least from this cattle and these cows, you can get milk. At least from these cows, you can get leather. But what is going to come from a human being who is misguided, who doesn't worship Allah?
Gee, I don't know, Dawah Man. Maybe a car? The Mercedes-Benz company was founded by a man named Carl Benz. Not a Muslim, but a Roman Catholic. You literally wrote in with proof against your argument.
That human being will live in this world, and all that human being will leave behind is his feces and his urine and his bones and his skin that will rot into the ground, okay?
And also a multi-billion-dollar company that manufactures cars worldwide, but who's counting that? You're also on Facebook, a website founded by Mark Zuckerberg, who's a Jew. And you clearly find plenty of value from using his site to spread your message. You use Apple products like an iPhone, AirPods, and a MacBook. Apple was founded by Steve Jobs, a Buddhist, as well as Steve Wozniak, who said he's an atheist or agnostic. And their current CEO, Tim Cook, well, let's say he's a big fan of weed. Every single day of your life, you are the beneficiary of creations from people who don't believe what you do. So if you truly think that non-Muslims make nothing of value, then by all means, delete your Facebook, get rid of your Apple products, practice what you preach.
That human being has not left anything positive behind. Matter of fact, what does that human being do? He creates chaos. He gets drunk, okay? So when he gets drunk, he creates disorder in society. He fornicates. He impregnates girls. Illegitimate children are born. Mothers are having to raise, kids on their own. He creates chaos.
Fun fact, the top 10 most peaceful countries in the world are all majority non-Muslim. If not following Islam causes so much chaos, then why are all these countries so peaceful?
So I just wanted to share that benefit with you guys, right? Don't be like the cows. Don't be, rather, as Allah said, worse than the cows, more astray, more misguided than the cattle. Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be a slave to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You know, as ridiculous and laughable as Dawah Man is, his behavior shouldn't be all that surprising. After all, we are the product of our beliefs. Dawah Man's comparison of non-believers to cows isn't something he made up himself. It comes directly from the Quran, chapter 7, verse 179. And as for him telling you to be a slave to Allah, well, Islam means submission to the will of God. And verse 51-56 of the Quran says that Allah created mankind to worship Him. So is it really a shock when Muslim preachers say Orwellian things like freedom is slavery?
The highest status with Allah, of the highest knowledge, is that I'm just a slave. I am and the word slave I use deliberately. I didn't say servant. I said slave because it's kind of an offensive term. Right? And literally in the Arabic language, I have to try to translate the Arabic of the Quran as close to the English as possible. I'm not trying to be politically correct. I'm trying to be accurate from a language point of view. Abd actually does mean slave. And yes, slave is an offensive term. But I want you to understand why that's used. Because slavery to anyone other than Allah is humiliation. But slavery to Allah is an honor. It's actually freedom.
We are all slaves. The only way you can really, truly free yourself is by changing your slavery. Be a servant, be a slave of God.
Becoming a slave is the only way that you will ever become free.
True freedom can only be obtained by being a slave to the one who gave you life, the one who will bring you to death. The only religion that calls for this complete submission to the Creator and not His creation, and places submission to His creation, is Islam.
Are these beliefs compatible with Western Enlightenment values? Do they really have a place in the 21st century? I don't know about you, but I refuse to be a slave.